Oh, the video got all. Somebody must have knocked out my video. Somebody had to. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Father Media News. I'm sorry about my video. What I was doing is that I was kind of like sharing things on the screen, and for some reason my screen went out, and I wanted to apologize for that. But I also want to let you know um, that I'm going to be in 2026. I'm going to be ordering T-shirts saying Fall River Media on it, Fall River Media News on it, and I'm going to be actually selling them like for like $25 and $5 every shirt that I sell. $5 goes to the soup kitchen. So I'm going to see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check like Amsterdam and stuff like that because that's what I'm gonna do. And most people want them, um, so that's what I'm gonna do. But I really want to show you something um, on Facebook. So please hold on to this a bit, okay? Uh, Hold on here. There it is, right there. Well, right here, um, there's going to be a rally to be held this weekend for demanding their arrest for Fall River Police defending officer involved in the death of Anthony Harden. Yeah, so there's going to be that's what's basically going on there. So yeah, let me try to bring this up a little bit more. Um, That way, let me see. Let me read this a little bit thorough, a little bit more. Try to bring this up a little. And Let me see. Yeah, so with a rally being held this weekend, demanded the arrest of a Fall River police officer, defends defended officer involved in the death of Anthony Harden. And the incident involving Fall River Police that resulted in a fatal shooting in Fall River 4 years ago has resulted in more TV commercials from the Man East State and response from the FRPD. Anthony Eric Mack is in care of a in-state of his brother Anthony Harden filed a civil lawsuit late last year against the city of Fall River, former Chief Jeffries Cardoza, and another officer believed to be involved in this case. On November 22nd, 2021, Harden was fatally shot in his apartment on Melville Street by an officer during a report struggling with another officer after Fall River police arrived at his home. Concerning a domestic violence investigation, Mark has contained that his brother was shot while unarmed and that officers involved attempted to cover up their tracks. The Bristol County District Attorney's Office included April of 2022 that the fatal shooting and Harden was justified and that Harden was armed with a knife. I don't believe that one bit. Hardin Interstate placed several television commercials in late 2024 and again in the month in addition to creation of a website offering $10,000 reward to requesting anyone tipped concerning the death of Hardin. They have also released excerpts from an interview involving those at the scene addressing the knife in question. In response of in the airing of a new commercial, Fall River Police issued and following a statement on Monday. The Fall River Police Department has issued this statement in response to repeat paid television commercials targeting and police officers with basically conspiracy and theories arising out of the police involved shooting of Anthony Hardin on November 22nd, 2021. The facts are that this officer, Charles Components Act, Haugly when forced to shoot Mr. Hardin to prevent him from stabbing her partner at the time. The officers were arrested. The officer who arrested Mr. Hardin for an domestic violence incident, officers Congress action where a warrant after exclusive investigation, including interviews of let me see of over 20 surveillance and police witness and additional forensic examination, and the Bristol County District Attorney's Office found that the shooting would be allegedly justified. I mean, why would the shooting be justified? I mean, come on, a police officer, black kid, figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Yeah, police officer, black kid. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, there should be an investigation, okay? On stuff like this, okay? It should be. And that's a shame, man. I mean, look how young that kid is, man, you know? Hey, like I said, if the brother's looking for justice, man, hey, fine, look at, hey, you're going to have, good evening, Dave. Yeah, good stuff, yeah. Now, if you got a police involved shooting, yeah, that there, I mean, yeah, well, if that was my brother, I would hold a rally too. You know what I'm saying? So, I would be. Nevertheless, on November 8th, 2024, Eric Mack, as the personal representative of East State of Anthony Hardin, filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Fall River, several of its police officers. Since then, Mack has continued to release misleading media attacks against Fall River police officers. These included paid television commercials in an attempt to show conspiracy theory and tainted the public perception of his unfortunate event. These commercials, even officers and bounties for the arrest and conviction of the officers, Mack presented misleading interacting of evidence in the effort to manipulate facts of this case, intimidating witnesses relative against officers and rejections of his federal lawsuit. Wow, that's crazy, man. Oh, that's nuts. Ah, you know, that is that's crazy. So, but like I said, uh, you know, we listened to, uh, you know, well, my first video was about, my first video was about, the current factory that I put up there. Um, then it was sales sack I talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll tell you one thing though: police involved shooting. This is crazy. Yes. Yeah, this is nuts. Let me try to bring this up a little bit more. Yeah. Excuse me, the HOA says you. Well, okay. That's big. Well, let me tell you something. Um, these things. I mean, sometimes these things happen. I mean, we have crime everywhere in our city. So, let's see here. But hey, look what Governor Moore Healy's doing with the drugs. And let's go bring that to attention here. And Seth Ankins for district attorney. Yeah, so if anybody wants to, Seth Ankins, district attorney. Let's see. Trying to set that up here. Let's see. Let me get my glasses on here. Let me get my glasses. I can see better now. Original campus fundraiser, December 4th at 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. at Scotty's Pub. If anybody wants to go, accountability, transparent, and leadership. If anybody wants to go to his events, it's going to be at Scotty's Pub down on Pleasant Street. So yeah, so if anybody wants to go there and listen to Seth Ankins, the candidate for district attorney, Bristol County of Massachusetts. It's going to be at Scotty's Pub down on what do you call it, on Pleasant Street. So if anybody wants to go there, so let me see here. I'll be sharing that too. As well, because I'm gonna have him on one day. So, yeah. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Okay, so yep, gonna have him on one day. So, I'm gonna stop sharing this and bringing this down a little bit. So, yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can get some t-shirts, some shirts, St. Paul River Media on it. It's not going to be until 2026, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to they will be $25. You know what I'm saying? 25, and every shirt I sell for that price, $5 goes to the $5 goes to the soup kitchen. So every $5 I sell, so a check goes out. Um, a check goes to the soup kitchen. Um, I would write out a like a bank's check or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to do. So that way we can basically help the community out a little bit. So and let me see here. Go look for some more stuff here. Let's see what I can do here for Facebook. I already talked about the cotton mills and stuff. You know, stuff there. I mean, I haven't even talked about this yet. So I did talk about that once before. Let's see here. Policies I talked about. Let's see here. Assemblies. I talked about that. Oh, I talked about that already. That one. Gasoline station. Well, you know what? Let's talk about this. So just imagine, okay, yourself at a gas station. Just imagine yourself at a gas station and you guys, okay, there's pumps all the way down. There's pumps all the way down to the end over there, right? And now just imagine you taking your credit card, right? Putting it in there, okay, paying for the gas. Just imagine you seeing a arm reaching over with the gas, or reaching over and pumping your gas for you, man. You know something? I tell you, you know what I'm saying? People say, you know, people say, oh, I don't want this. You know what I'm saying? People's like, oh no, it's a robot. People are kind of like really scared. You know what I'm saying? So I personally don't know why people are scared. I don't know. But I mean, you know, having an arm like that, okay, coming out and taking the pump and putting inside your gas tank and pumping the gas for you. Just imagine. I'm saying, you know, I mean, look at it. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine it. You know what I'm saying? You have to really imagine what would you do if you seen that? I mean, that would be pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? So oh, I know Annalise is not on tonight, and we usually talk about Swamp Scott, but Annalise will be on tomorrow with me. I just wanted to come on, and show a little bit of the cotton mills and and things like that, and talk about good things. That Talk about good things, and just imagine having this right here. This would be a kicker right here. Look at this. Watch this. Now, this would be a kicker. Just imagine having this right here. Uh, Robots pumping your gas. You know what I'm saying? For you. I mean, what would you think? I mean, some people don't like it, but hey, I mean, I kind of like it a little bit, but some people are saying, oh well, it might take jobs away and this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you can have real people, a real person in the booth collecting the money. You have robots over here, um, pumping the gas. I mean, just a little brief on that. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, I've talked about the Epstein case too. Let me see here. Let's go back to YouTube here for a minute. Yeah, we saw a live stream of this. Going on in the White House. Let's see here. Epstein case transparency. Let's see here. I just want to.
Months ago, now one step closer to becoming law. This was a nearly unanimous vote. The final vote, 427-1, just hours after some Epstein survivors gathered at the Capitol to rally support. So next step, the Senate, and then on to the White House for the president to sign this into law if it passes that chamber. The president now says he'll do that in a surprising political pivot after months of resistance to backing the bill. Joining us now is our chief Capitol Hill correspondent, Ryan Nobles. And Ryan, this vote just seconds ago now takes this one step closer to reality for the survivors and other advocates who have been fighting for it. The question had been just how many Republicans would get on board. The answer appears to be all but one.
That's right, Hallie. And as this resolution was officially gavelled and signed through the House of Representatives, there were cheers in the gallery just a few feet from where I'm standing. And we're told that there were survivors of the Epstein saga that were in the gallery watching as this vote took place. And you're right, it was an overwhelming passage, 427 voting in the affirmative, only one nay, and that is Congressman Clay Higgins, who released a statement saying that he is what he described a principled no on this, saying that he has issues with the bill. And of course, Republicans in Congress, including the Speaker of the House, have said from the very beginning that they had issues with the way that this discharge petition, as it's called, came to be. The discharge petition is a maneuver that rank and file House members can use to bring a piece of legislation to the floor outside of House leadership. This was initially something that Republicans fought right up until the last minute. There was a group of breakaway Republicans that joined with Democrats to force this to the floor. But once it became a reality that this was something that House members were going to be forced to vote on, Republicans quickly came around and decided that it was responsible and smart for them to vote yes, including the Speaker himself. Today, though, he did hold a press conference and discuss his issues with the bill. He is concerned that it doesn't do enough to protect survivors, that it could put potential victims of child sex abuse at risk of their information being made public, and that it could compromise future investigations. The supporter of this package say that they've written the bill in a way that would solve and deal with all these issues that the Speaker has. He's asking the Senate to change it, Hallie, and of course that is the next big question we have, is how the Senate will deal with this, and we could find that out here in the next hour or so when the Senate convenes.
Explain that, Ryan, because you now have the top Senate Democrat, Chuck Schumer, suggesting that he will try to bring this to the floor. He will try to take action, possibly in the next several hours here tonight. Of course, it would need Republican support. What are you hearing from that side of the Capitol?
Well, there's two ways that this could go once it reaches the Senate, Hallie. There's a very quick way, and then there's a much more lengthy and arduous process that this resolution could take. If they take the route that Speaker Johnson is suggesting, it could delay the passage and the release of these files indefinitely. So Speaker Johnson is asking for a long list of amendments to be added to this bill. That would require deliberations and negotiations among senators to craft the language that would make them feel more comfortable with voting yes. It would then have to come back here to the House for another vote before it made it to the president's desk. This doesn't seem to be something that most rank and file Republicans want to deal with right now because it keeps the story in the forefront. It's something that we'll continue to ask questions about. The other alternative they have is that they can do as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has suggested and just bring the bill to the floor this afternoon and vote on it, perhaps even by a vehicle called unanimous consent, where they just put it on the floor and say, is everybody okay with this? And if no one objects, the bill passes. That would prevent Republicans from having to deal with the continued questions about this. And it would also send the bill to President Trump's desk as soon as this evening. Now, we don't know which way the Senate Majority Leader John Thune wants to go as it relates to this package. He's deflected all questions about the Epstein saga from the very beginning, saying that this resolution was just a hypothetical issue because the Senate or the House had yet to pass it. It is no longer a hypothetical issue. It is something he's going to have to deal with. And Hallie, we've talked to many Republicans already on the Senate side who said that the bill should come to the floor and that they plan to vote yes. So much like how we saw it play out here in the House, if it makes it to the floor, it will absolutely get at least the 60 votes necessary. The question right now is in the hands of John Thune as to when the bill could make it to the floor and how quickly there'll be a vote.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you to stand by for just a moment while we bring in our senior White House correspondent, Garrett Haake. And Garrett, we referenced the president's surprising reversal on this after months of resistance to backing the bill, saying this week that he would greenlight the GOP to back it, that he would, in fact, sign it into law. But there's another piece to this, too, right, which is some lawmakers suggesting that the president could avoid the Senate vote altogether. He could avoid having Congress manage this by simply directing the DOJ to release the files now himself. He was pressed about this today, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he really didn't answer. And this has been one of the interesting kind of riddles at the heart of this. I mean, this is a president who's never been shy about urging his attorney general or Department of Justice to take specific actions in a way previous presidents would not have. Here, there's a very clear action he could have taken if we take his words at face value, that he wants to see transparency here and wants to put this issue behind him, and could simply pick up the phone or use his social media platform to call for the complete release of the relevant files, a step he has chosen not to take. Yesterday, though, he did say in the Oval Office when I asked him that he would sign this bill if it got to his desk, clearing up any confusion about whether he wants to see it simply pass the House and get bogged down in the Senate. To Ryan's point, that could potentially happen as early as today. But that's not to say that the files would suddenly come spilling out into the open then, even with the legislative path cleared and a presidential signature. Hallie, there's still a pretty lengthy process potentially here before we'll see the meat of what could be millions of different types of digital and physical files in the government's possession.
Ryan, let me go back to you here, because one of the things that we covered earlier today, this rally at the base of the Capitol involving not just the lawmakers behind this bipartisan bill, but also Epstein abuse survivors. You're seeing some of that video here who have been pushing now for months. And in my conversations with several of these survivors, one of the things I heard again and again was that they felt like at every turn, they were told that what they were trying for, the release of these files, was impossible. Now, here they are, one step closer to getting what so many of them say they want to see, which is full transparency, full accountability. They have been having, they've been talking to members of Congress. They've been releasing PSAs to try to get public support for this bill. And they believe that Americans are on their side when you look at the polling, when you look at the numbers on this.
And Hallie, I think they're right. And I think that's evidenced by the vote total you saw here. I think, what Republican leadership has tried to say over the past few months as this debate has emerged over whether or not this resolution should pass, that it's somehow Democrats that have been the ones pushing it. And certainly Democrats have gotten involved in this, and Democrats have in many ways put pressure on Republicans to get this bill to the floor. But it's really been the Republican base, fueled in many ways by the stories of these survivors, that has gotten us to this point. It has been Republicans who are having their offices get countless phone calls from their constituents demanding accountability for the Epstein files. It was something that Donald Trump ran on in his campaign for president in this last election, cycle. So this has become somewhat of an organic movement that really crosses party lines. And it's really been these heartfelt, courageous stories from the survivors of
Party
the
line
that have kind of driven that. And when Speaker Johnson today talks about his desire to protect the innocent folks that have been caught up in this controversy, it comes at the same time that these survivors just earlier today passionately made the case that this resolution needs to be passed because this information needs to get out and that it's been covered up for far too long. So that's why many of them were in the gallery to watch this vote take place because they feel so strongly about it. But you're very right, Hallie, and you've talked to these survivors more than anyone I know. The idea that they would get to this stage where they would see such an overwhelming vote, given how long the atrocities of Jeffrey Epstein have been covered up, it certainly must be a remarkable day for them. Still a long way to go before they get the full accountability they're looking for. But this is a pretty miraculous step given where this controversy was even 5 years ago.
To that point, Ryan, I'm thinking about one conversation I had earlier today with an Epstein survivor who said this is really the starting point now with a potentially long road ahead. Garrett, let me go back to you here for a moment because President Trump talked about his relationship, his association with his one-time friend, Jeffrey Epstein, just in the last couple of hours at the White House in the Oval Office. Let me play that.
As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right.
The president has repeatedly been frustrated, Garrett, by questions that he would take from reporters, from others about the Epstein case, in part, as he's described it as a hoax, in part because he fears, it sounds like, based on his comments, that it overshadows other of his presidential priorities, Garrett.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the president told me yesterday, that he sees this as a distraction from the things that he's been able to accomplish in this second term in particular. He compares it unfavorably, as you might imagine, to the Russia investigation that was a cloud over his first term as a similar kind of issue in the sense that he says, he believes he has done nothing wrong and that no amount of information that comes out seems to satisfy the people who are critical of him on this issue. He has gone on to say that he believes this is more of a problem for Democrats and has gone so far onto it that he's encouraged his Department of Justice to open any investigations into Democrats who might have been involved with Jeffrey Epstein or who might be mentioned in some way in the files. Hallie, that obviously creates another problem for his Department of Justice and his FBI, which said publicly in July that there is no information in these files that could predicate even opening any additional investigations.
And Ryan, in the bill, there is a provision that would allow the DOJ to withhold certain pieces of information that would be relevant to an active investigation. That seems to be one of the big question marks, right? If this does pass, Ryan, how the release of these files actually does happen.
Yeah, it does really feel like Speaker Johnson is kind of splitting hairs with the language in this resolution as part of his reluctance to fully embrace it. One of my colleagues today in the press conference with Speaker Johnson actually read the resolution to him and point by point went through how each one of these things that he's concerned about is addressed in the resolution. And then he went into further minutia into the bills and how they could potentially be interpreted. It does give the Department of Justice pretty wide purview in terms of protecting these things that he's concerned about, in terms of redacting the names of potential victims and not getting in the way of potential investigations. The laundry list goes on and on. I think what frustrates the survivors so much is that every single time they think they're on the verge of some sort of transparency when it comes to this issue, another roadblock is thrown in the way. And often it's a roadblock under the guise of some sort of protection or some way to
Well, anyways, this is all about the Jeffrey Epstein case. And there's a lot of things. I mean, it's a mess. You got a lot of survivors. And it's just a mess. But just want to try to You know, it's just a mess. It's one thing after another with this, and President Trump has, said that he just wants to get this stuff over with. It's it's been far too long. You know what I'm saying? And so on. And even President Trump says, "Oh, I didn't." President Trump said he didn't have nothing to do with it. He says, matter of fact, he kicked Epstein out of his golf course. You know what I'm saying? He kicked him out. I mean, so I mean, exact words he said. You know what I'm saying? So, but we'll see what happens. And see if the Senate, passes it. You know what I'm saying? So far that the Senate didn't. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. Basically, anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. I'm just looking through this again and see if I can find some more stuff. So what is going on here?
Produced nearly 200 rules for the Congress. So Mr. Speaker, we're doing our job. We're not closing out debate. We're having plenty of debate. There's plenty of opportunities for our colleagues to offer amendments. Thank you. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, a lot of words to justify the most closed Congress in history, the most authoritarian Congress in history. It would make Putin blush. Mr. Speaker, if we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to provide for consideration of H.R. 6074, which would extend the Affordable Care Act enhanced premium tax credits for 3 years through 2028. We are in the midst of a health care crisis. More than 20 million Americans who get their health care on the ACA exchanges are going to see their premiums skyrocket next year. That includes 250,000 people in my home state of Massachusetts who are paying lower premiums and copays due to these tax credits, which Democrats created in 2021 and are set to expire at the end of the year. Let me read you some of the stories from folks in my district. Quote, I just received my letter and my monthly costs have gone from $1,287 to $3,026 for next year. As a working family with a daughter who has an autoimmune disease, we are struggling, and I'm working 50 plus hours a week just to pay the insurance, end quote. Another one, and I quote, with the Health Connector, I was paying $264 per month, acceptable seeing that I am healthy but not young. Without the advanced premium tax credit, my monthly premium will be just over $800 per month. I can't and I won't pay that. I will go without. This is happening across the country. And for the sake of millions of Americans and their health care, I urge my Republican colleagues to support this bill and vote no on the previous question. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question. And I reserve.
Without objection. Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from Utah, Mr. Owens.
Gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman, for yielding. Mr. Speaker, after blatant obstruction and prolonged delay on the part of congressional Democrats for over 40 days, the House has returned to regular order. It's good to be back, and it's about time. Today, we're here to advance 8 separate measures that meet the demands of the American people and strengthen President Trump's successful America First agenda. My constituents voted for the dissolution of the Biden bureaucratic barrage and for the safety of their communities, from bolstering American energy dominance to upholding law and order, strengthening the criminal justice system in the nation's capital, to rejecting the failed ideology of socialism. House Republicans continue to deliver measurable and substantial progress. I urge my colleagues to support the rule and the 8 underlying pieces of legislation. Let's continue delivering wins for the American people. Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlelady from North Carolina reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, shortly on the floor, Republicans are about to finally bring up the Massey Counter bill to release the Epstein files. We had to drag this leadership here kicking and screaming. And I appreciate their sudden and stunning change of heart on this issue. But I want to state for the record that the Republican leadership has tried to block this day for months and months and months.
Tomorrow.
And I also want to state for the record that Donald Trump could release these files on his own today, right now, right this very second. He doesn't need to wait for Congress to pass the bill. He could release the files himself, but he won't. That is why we are here, because he refuses to act. Meanwhile, the Republican majority has blocked transparency at every turn. They stonewalled in committee. The gentlelady from North Carolina and every Republican on the Rules Committee voted 9 times to block my amendment to release the Epstein files. 9 times. Republicans were so afraid of my amendment that Speaker Johnson shut down the Rules Committee and sent us home early in July. And then he refused to swear in a new member of Congress for weeks because she promised to be the 218th signature to force this bill forward. Only four Republicans signed the discharge petition. Every single Democrat signed on. In a few moments, I'm going to yield time to Representative Massey, who has been the Republican leader of this effort in the House, alongside Representative Khanna on the Democratic side. And here's why I'm doing that. This bill should be getting a full hour of debate on the floor. But Speaker Johnson, I guess at Donald Trump's direction, is throwing every procedural gimmick at the wall to see what sticks. And he's trying to limit debate on the floor because for some reason he is very, very afraid of talking about this. So that's why I'm donating a significant chunk of my time to members who have been silenced by the Speaker for the terrible crime of demanding truth and transparency. Now, if I had to guess, most Republicans will probably vote in favor of releasing the files. But they're not voting yes because their conscience changed. They're voting yes because Donald Trump tells most of them how to vote. And he realized he's lost on this one. He says the people who support this bill, quote, betrayed the entire Republican Party. Really? Really? How is accountability for a pedophile something Donald Trump campaigned on? How is that now a betrayal? This was his issue, his idea. He ran on releasing the files. By the way, to those who say that Biden should have released these files, let me just address that right now. You're right. He should have. But he didn't make it his number one issue, and he's not the president right now. Donald Trump is. He could have released the files at any point over the last 11 months, but he has not. Republicans have had months to sign the petition.
So
They had months to bring this.
So
bill
why
to the
should
floor. But
Donald
this
Trump
leadership has
release it?
chosen obstruction. They don't want to pass this
This
bill.
was Biden's
They don't even want
problem.
to talk about it on the House floor. And so that's why debate matters. And with that, I reserve my time.
Gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's be clear. Republicans don't oppose the full transparency of the Epstein files. We embrace the Oversight Committee's task of doing just that. We embrace Representative Massey's legislation here today by putting it up for a vote under suspension. I'll be voting for it. We already have a House investigation that carries the full force of law, and there's no opposition to respecting the majority's wishes to get this codified into law. Let's get to it. Let's get the vote and end these false debates, straw man arguments, and non sequiturs. We tried to pass this bill last week, but Democrats wouldn't agree to doing so. Let's vote now. Democrats should stop, listen, and take yes for an answer. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the gentlelady doesn't oppose this. Boy, you have a funny way of showing it. I gave the gentlelady 9 opportunities in the Rules Committee to bring this measure to the floor. 9 opportunities. And every time I brought up an amendment, she voted it down. 9 opportunities. So to say that somehow this is always what you wanted, I don't know. That doesn't pass the smell test. Mr. Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from California, Mr. Khanna.
Gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership over the last 5 months to make sure that this bill came to the floor. Thank you also to Don Sisson for his leadership and understanding of all the rules to make this possible. Now, as we are here today, I saw on CNN that the president is meeting with the Saudi prince. You know what America First means to me? How about meeting with the survivors? How about making sure that America's girls are not being raped? That's what it means to be America First, not going and just meeting with Saudi princes. You know, I am so honored to be here and working together with Congressman Thomas Massie, who's shown so much courage and principle, and I'm so honored to be here.
Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey. He's a Democrat. Thomas Massey. Unbelievable. Thomas Massey. Yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to, come on and play a couple of videos and, and talk about the Epstein case too. Talk about the current factory that I put up earlier today in my other video. And what else? The cotton mill. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to come on and actually talk about all this stuff and show some pictures of it. Seal Sack Company and all that stuff too. So, but anyways, tomorrow I have a show with Annalisa. Annalisa is going to be on tomorrow. And so, but hey, anyways, yeah, so I'm going to be next year. I'm going to be ordering some shirts and stuff. It's going to cost like $25. Well, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but the shirts are going to be like $25, and every shirt I sell, $5 goes to the soup kitchen. So, so take care, everybody. Have a great night. This is Dave Mead for Fall River Media News. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And stay safe. And just want to let everybody know, happy Thanksgiving. I won't be on Thursday night, but I'll have to make it up on Friday night because I'm going out for a Thanksgiving dinner. Going out Thursday. So Friday, and Friday I'll make up with the show at 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Today was just a something I wanted to talk about, like the cotton mill, the curtain factory, and those sort of things. But anyways, have a great night, everybody. I'll be on tomorrow. I know Thomas Massey's a Republican. I know he is. And Thomas Massey, people say that he never took AIPAC money, which is he never did. I saw it. He's never did take AIPAC money. But people saying that Trump took AIPAC money, but I don't know about that. But also, let me see what else. I mean, we know Schumer took AIPAC money. You know what I'm saying? We also know Pelosi took AIPAC money. We also know Elizabeth Warren took AIPAC money. We also know that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, once you take AIPAC money, forget it. You know what I'm saying? AIPAC is going to want you to do what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? If you take their money, that's what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. So there's a lot of things to talk about tomorrow night. So I'm gonna go for now. But hey, Scott Annalise will be on tomorrow night. And but thank you for listening, Justin. Thank you for listening to my podcast. So hey, have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night. This is Dave Mead, Fall River Media News, always broadcasting every Wednesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 9. But I will not be on this Thursday, but I will be on Friday at 6 to 9. And then, okay, so take care, everybody. Have a great night.